to season 3. We are excited to be back here for yet another season at the Bridge broadcast with WYTV7. I tell you, these last 2 seasons have been an amazing experience where I've walked with you, my audience, through the process of spiritual transformation, your transformation in your soul. And this season will carry a little bit over from the soul, but we'll always be talking about spiritual transformation. But we want to talk a little bit more about kind of like your body and the whole healing. But today it will not be any different than what we've done. This is a special show that we're starting off with this season, and I'm so excited to have with me a special guest that is going to help me launch this season. We're going to launch it in a big way. And for those of you who don't know, the Bridge Broadcast Show is really designed to really meet the needs, to help people get from where they are to where they want and need to be in life. And we do that through, really helping the whole person. And so we are really excited about being here. I've done books in the past. I've done John Maxwell. I've done Think and Grow Rich. I've done so many books that will heal your soul. But you know what? I have somebody who is amazing, who's in person with us today as we launch this season. Now, the reason this is so exciting is because we are launching this season with the Journey Conference. And Sharon Lawrence is one of my guest speakers who's going to be here in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, September 13th and 14th with me. And for those of you who will not be able to be here in person, I want you to do this. I'm going to, when I put up the link, we'll put a link to have you be able to register so you can join us online and just be there in spirit. And so, without delay, Sharon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pastor Tina. How are you?
I am so excited. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to, to have you with me, to go on this journey with me, to go on the journey with the people that we serve. And I'm just honored by God. I just thank God. And I'm just honored that God would allow me to meet you. And I have to tell the quick story. Do you mind if I tell the quick story of how we met?
No, tell them.
We were going from BWI, Baltimore, Maryland. We were flying. Was it Fort Lauderdale?
Yes.
I think it was. And we got on the plane. And it's so funny how when you're on a plane, you're flying on a Southwest plane, you get on, it's like, I don't know who I'm going to sit by. We're on the last tail end, and it was me and my husband. And we happened, as we were thinking this, Sharon was sitting here thinking, oh my God, who's going to sit by me? I'm sure something you could tell your part, but who was going to sit by me? And you never know who you're going to meet. You never know when there's going to be a divine appointment. And let me tell you, this was a divine appointment. I tell you, we started talking, and we talked, it seemed like it was a 2.5 hour conversation that was like 10 minutes long. And it was just such a connection with this like-minded, like-spirited person. And it is my honor to bring, her to you, the audience. And she's just we're going to flow. She does counseling. She's going to talk all about that. She's in between sessions, seeing people and touching their lives. Thank you for letting me come in your space. I know you're busy. You look like somebody who's putting people on the couch. So Sharon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I have a private practice in Largo, Maryland, where I provide therapy to therapists, other professionals, and couples. So I'm basically working with people who help people. And so that is my main focus. However, I'm also a speaker. I'm an author, and I'm also a trainer. I provide training to clinicians and clergy who work with couples, making sure that they're fully equipped and they have an evidence-based curriculum that allows them to be effective in their work with couples, whether they're in that serious dating phase, engaged, or even married. In the time frame of their marriage does not matter. Anytime they need support, that curriculum can be utilized to support them, and also helping them to support parents who need ideas and, ways to kind of grow their skill set when, parenting, whether birth children or blended families. So that is what I do. I'm also an adjunct professor. And so that is what I have recently added to my resume. So I am quite busy.
You know what? That's so amazing. God used busy people. And I'm so glad to know that one busy person has met another busy person.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. Sharon, please tell us what drew you here? What is the journey that brought you here to be able to serve people? And I know that people who are in the helping field, they need help. And oftentimes they're the ones that often don't most know it. And I don't mean to be offensive, but we get in the space and we help and we give. What brought you here to help this set of people?
I mean, so it's interesting. I've been doing this work for now 19 years in the variety of capacities, whether in leadership, as a mobile therapist, working with developmental disabilities. I mean, the resume is really long, and I've been blessed to work in so many capacities. However, 9 years ago, I realized in working with people that there were people in the helping profession who were not taking care of themselves, where they were giving, but they actually were not following or they weren't committed to their ethical obligation to take care of themselves while doing this work. And so for 7 years, I'm going to say sat on it because I did. Was I thinking about it often? Yes. But the reality is that I sat on it thinking, okay, eventually it will happen. And about 2 years ago, I launched my private practice. And that was at the prompting of my husband after I attended a networking event and became so inspired. And he said, okay, it's time to do this work. And so for me, it was just another building block upon all the other things I had done, and making sure that I was ready to support the clinicians who needed that support. And what I found is that my phone does not stop ringing. I've been full for almost a year. And so when I get a little spot open, I'm like, okay, I can put this person in there, but then I'm saying, okay, I'm not taking any more people because there are clinicians who want help. So if you find a therapist who says they don't believe in therapy, I would be very concerned. I think that if you're doing this work, or if you're in any type of helping profession, you need to be taking care of yourself, especially even if it's from the preventative standpoint, to say, okay, I just want to make sure I'm okay. You don't have to go every week, but just doing a check-in is helpful for your emotional well-being. I mean, so we know it's all about that mind, body, and spirit. So if the mind is not right, everything else is not going to flow the way you want it to. So that is pretty much how I got here, understanding that there was a need.
There's so many ways that I can go with this, but we have a limited amount of time that we can take with this. But I do want to, I'm going to go with both the ways. Talk to me about, you sat on something, and I want you to be able to connect to our audience who sit on stuff, and we'll talk a little bit about the conference, but who sit on stuff. What is your wisdom for those who sit on stuff that God has like divinely dropped within them?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about.
So I can look at that from two different ways. There are some people who sit on things and it's just a thought, they do nothing with it. They have an idea, they say, okay, I want to do this one day, but they actually do no work. Whereas you have another group of people who say, I want to do this, and maybe it's not happening now. However, what you find is that they are always reading up on it. They're doing the research. They're connecting to people who can provide some wisdom about that area that they're interested in. And maybe they're not moving right away, but they're pulling in all the information. So for me, yes, I sat on it, but I was also meeting with mentors and previous supervisors periodically, not often, maybe once a year, just to say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? I don't want to give up this goal that I have, but I don't think I'm ready. And even when I went to that networking event, my mindset was, oh, I'm going to do this in a year. And I made an announcement at the event. I told them what I was doing in a year. And at the end, I was like, what was I thinking? What are you doing? And my husband, when I got home, he said, sit down. And I was like, what did I say? He said, I've never seen you this excited. It's time.
Wow.
And so I was like, it's time. Even then I was still trying to, play dumb. I said, it's time for what? And he said, it's time to launch SELA.
Wow.
And so he gave me one assignment, and that was to do something every day for the business. Within 5 months, my practice was open.
Wow.
Within 9 months, I left my full-time job. And so sitting on something is really about perspective and action together. You can have the thought, but if you don't do anything with it, you are just sitting. But if you're pulling in information that builds, upon each other, that information, making it grow so that you are prepared, you're probably better on your journey once you start because you've been gathering information all along.
That's good wisdom, Sharon. I'm really excited, and that reaches every person that, sits under our voices, who has something within them that is just have been pondering and not really getting into place. So thank you for sharing that. Now I want to talk to the professionals who may not think that they need to have some help. Talk to us about that stigma, and even for the people who may not be professionals, because that's what we're going to be talking about. How do we hit that stigma and bust past that?
Remember that we're not exempt from life.
Oh, that's good.
And it's interesting that you said that stigma, because I actually wrote an article last year for goodtherapy.org that got published, and it talked about the stigma amongst mental health professionals or licensed professionals in general. And one person said, well, there's no stigma. I said, there is. When you're amongst therapists, and I've witnessed this, where someone can be insensitive to something, or if they may be judgmental about something, and I'm going, okay, I look at it from the perspective that as a clinician, we don't have the luxury to take off that hat of character when you want to. If anything, you're more obligated to yourself to make sure that you're following those ethical guidelines. So you don't get to walk away to say, okay, I'm going to manage just the way I want to. You're right, you can. But if it's something that starts to impact your ability to function, whether in your home, in the workplace, in relationships, in just in the social, in the community, you have to start questioning if it's something internally that needs to be addressed. And if you realize that, okay, so-and-so just said, hey, you don't seem like yourself. And cousin so-and-so said, okay, you need to, maybe take a day off. Where people are starting to tell you they see a difference, you have an obligation before the whole train wrecks to take care of you. Because that's what ends up happening. We wait until the complete blowout.
Right.
Instead of saying, okay, I know I'm not myself. Let me put it in check before this really starts to spin out of control. My clients will tell me, you don't seem like yourself today. And I know we don't have a whole lot of time. I know we have about 7 minutes. So I don't want to go too far into that. But I have clients who can tell when I'm probably, like my candle is like right at the bottom, and they're going, okay, Sharon, are you good? And if my clients start telling me that, I know I have to then check on myself and go, okay, you've kind of walked this line a little bit too far. It's time for a day off. Yeah.
Yes, and it's funny, you're a practicing clinician who happens to be loving and serving God.
Yes.
My question now, as I reach out to those who are in the ministry, being in the ministry and being in the pastoral role, there's a thin line between mental health and faith. Talk to us about that. Why is it even more important for us as those who serve and labor over people to be aware, be aware of what it is that you're talking about? And then we'll talk about, your workshop and the conference, okay?
Okay. And so to make this very quick and straight to the point, like I said before, you cannot separate the mind, the body, and the soul. They all go together. And so when you're talking about your emotional well-being, that is one of the things that you have to protect. You have to protect it. I quote her a lot, and she knows I love her, but Dr. Anita says it all the time, and it was the most profound thing that I've heard, but it's something that I feel has been so, for me, it brought even more clarity as a clinician who's a believer. And so, or a believer who's a Christian. She said that prayer is a weapon, but therapy is a strategy.
Wow.
So therapy is the part that you deal with in that natural realm. And so that's the piece that helps you, basically, like I tell people, Faith without works is dead. That's the word. You can have faith that God is going to do something, but it's also going to be your actions that bring that faith to fruition. You have to do the work.
Wow.
And so the other component of that is making sure that people understand, just like they would address a heart condition or they would address a foot condition, or I even say this, if money was missing out of your bank account, where are you going to be Monday morning? At the bank in line an hour before they open to find out where your money went. So if you know emotionally something's not right, why would you not deal with that? There's a book called, and I'll hurry up. We got about 4 minutes. I'll hurry. So there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. What you choose not to deal with, your body holds that information, and it's traumatic on the body.
Wow. Talk about that for one quick second, because it's so critical.
Yeah.
And how that connects with physical ailments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Your body holds stress. So when people are not dealing with things, they're holding it in different parts of their body. Like for me, I know my stress, I hold it in my neck.
Okay.
And I remember being in physical therapy, and a lady said, "Oh my gosh, were you like in a traumatic, accident or something?" I was like, "No, it's just that's where I've held stress for so long." But there are some people who hold stress in sickness, ulcers, chest pains, rashes, headaches, migraines, pain, unexplained pain that doctors are not able to give you a reason for.
Wow. Sharon, you know what? This is such good information. At the Journey Conference in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, September 13th and 14th, we are hosting. Sharon, I was trying to grab the flyer, but we'll attach the flyer to this event. Yes. I got the other flyer for the 14th, but talk to us about the Prepare and Enrich.
Yes, so the Prepare and Enrich training that I would like to conduct with everyone in that area. So we have about 12 to 15 spaces available. So it's important that you get your tickets. But Prepare and Enrich focuses on helping clergy and clinicians or anyone in marriage ministries, or even if you are an officiant who works with couples before you perform weddings, we want to make sure that you get adequate training. This curriculum has been out for about 40 years now. There's over 1 million facilitators across the U.S. and globally, and it's an evidence-based curriculum, meaning that you get the skills and resources from an online source after receiving the training in person, so that you can begin to work with couples. And that's couples at every phase of their relationship. And then you also get, a lifetime connection to me as your trainer, meaning I'm available to you when you need support.
Wow, Sharon, that is absolutely amazing. I want to bring up, and I so apologize for not having that other flyer, but we have a flyer on the Saturday. We won't do flyers, but I'll attach.
That's fine.
We'll be doing something on mental health and faith. And we've already talked about it, and we know the essential features and why that's important. So I just want to encourage the audience, please tap in via online. Please look for the link as I attach it to this broadcast. Register for both workshops. We love you to register in person. We have a dynamo that is going to be here with us, Sharon Lawrence. Sharon, thank you so much for taking time with us. I know you have to go and do what God has ordained you to do, go and be with your clients. So thanks for hanging out with me. Is there anything you want to say last to our audience?
Well, just thank you, but also for those that are listening, this is also, this training on Friday is going to be 7 CEUs. So we know that it's all about CEUs for a lot of clinicians and some clergy. So please sign up there. You're able to apply for 7 CEUs for that day. So don't miss out. And thank you for having me, Pastor Tina.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much, you all, for being with us. I will see you on next week. Register, join us, be with us. God bless you. This has been your host, Tina Boyle Whyte, the host of Bridge Broadcast Show. Thank you again and we'll see you next week. God bless.